Hey friends, welcome back to my channel for a new episode. I'm so grateful to have you here and excited. This is new to me, building this channel and sharing consistent content. I've always used YouTube more as a place to just kind of house videos where I could grab a link when I needed it. But I've always loved video, and so I'm excited to get to take that passion and that creativity and start pouring it into a new outlet. So thank you so much for joining me here on my channel. My name's Kimberly Veely, and I would love to hear, if you're watching, just where you're watching from, and what things are you passionate about, and what do you like to watch on YouTube. I am passionate about homemaking, homeschooling, and spreading hope. And so that's what you're gonna find a lot of here. I'm a homeschooling mom of two girls, and we did not always homeschool. So our kids have gone to Christian private school, they've been in public school, and then just through kind of all of the madness and chaos and uncertainty in the last few years with COVID, we found ourselves homeschooling. And I found myself really realizing the dream of being home and being a homemaker and really pouring into my family and getting to make them my priority and nurture them and nourish them and create a home environment that I loved and that I felt led to do. And so in this video, we're going to talk about goal setting and just kind of look what it looks like when maybe you haven't set goals or you haven't really dreamt in a while, and how to just lean on the Lord to get that vision and to get that fire back to use the gifts and the talents and the opportunities He's given you in your life to live a fulfilling, abundant life. Okay, so in this video, we are going to be talking about goal setting and about dreaming and about casting vision in your life, and specifically talking about setting achievable goals, setting attainable goals, short term. This isn't like that whole like, what do you want your life to look like 5 years from now? But setting goals for the month. And I'm going to share with you my personal goals for the month of April and just some things going on. But before I share that, I want to share with you my heart, because I realize not everybody is in a season of dreaming big, and not everybody has even lived a life of dreaming big. Circumstances and sometimes our current seasons of life just don't create space for us to dream. Sometimes we find ourselves more so in survival mode than like really thriving and moving forward and doing all these things. Sometimes it's just about getting through the day and like hoping to get to the next day. And I just can see that, and I can relate to that 100%. We did not always homeschool. We just started homeschooling 2 years ago. So while I'm really passionate about homeschooling, I recognize like there's so many people who have done it so much longer and have so much wisdom, yet because we haven't always homeschooled, there's that wisdom that comes with not having done that and seeing what the other side is. And my life's goal was always to be a mom, and I never wanted anything more than to have a family, to be a mom, and to create a home that was peaceful and welcoming and loving and safe and comforting. And through COVID and through all of the craziness, I found myself there. I was already a mom. Our kids are older, a little older, not teenagers quite yet, though we are encroaching on those years. And I'm like, oh boy, Lord, I am going to need you so much more. But I didn't find myself as a new mom, I should say, in the last couple years. But I did find myself, as with everybody else, just like our lives got turned upside down. And so with that, everything got brought back home. And I think that was one of the biggest blessings, as crazy and tumultuous and hard as that whole global pandemic was. One of the beautiful blessings was that we were forced to come home and reevaluate like the way we were living and the way things were going, the direction we were going in, and see, is this really what we want, and is this really working for us? So coming out of that was really when we made the decision to start homeschooling. And it was like, oh my gosh, I have I have this dream realized of homeschooling my kids and being home and focusing on the family more than anything. And then I hit this wall, I think, like this funk, and it was like, okay, well, I accomplished this one thing, or this dream is fulfilled, now what? And it was almost like I shut off that need to dream or that desire to dream, and I almost felt like guilty for wanting anything extra, wanting anything more, and hearing people say, just people's opinions. Like, as much as we don't want to say we listen to people's opinions, like, what we hear sticks with us, and what we allow into our hearts and into our minds, and through scrolling or whatever, like, it sticks with us, and it will make some sort of impression no matter what. And so I just kind of came to this place where I felt like, okay, well, this is my focus now, and this is what it needs to be. And I just realized, like, I'm a natural dreamer, and so I really shut off a big part of who I am and this bend that the Lord has given me in who I am, in my character, in my personality. Like, I'm a dreamer, and I'm a creative person, and I love to connect, and my spiritual gift is the gift of encouragement. And so I love to be able to connect with others and encourage them. And it was like, when you go and you shut that off, it's only a matter of time until you find yourself kind of in this weird funk of feeling very lost. And so it probably took me about a good, year to 2 years of realizing that, and finally now here I am kind of coming out on the other side of that. And so just this month was really the first time in quite a while that I sat down to write out goals, to dream, and to pray, and just say, not to pray, I've been praying. It's not that I just started praying, but to pray about, Lord, what amazing things do you have for me that I'm like not even opening my hands to, because I've just been like, well, here I am. This is what I've got. And this is what I'm doing. I've been like approaching it with closed hands. And so to sit down and to do that has been so refreshing and so life-giving. And it feels like seeds and dreams that envisioned for my life that the Lord planted years ago, I kind of buried. And now all of a sudden, they're like starting to flourish, and they're starting to kind of take life again when I thought that it was dormant and maybe gone forever. So I want to encourage you, if you're someone who has found yourself in one of those seasons, maybe you're like smack dab in the middle of it and you feel like you're treading water, and even more so to feel like you're in that season where you're like, I have so much to be grateful for, and yet there's something missing, and I feel like the Lord is calling me to more and I don't know what, and it can feel so overwhelming. Just seek Him, seek the Lord, and just kind of, maybe this is part of where that rest comes in. Maybe this is part of where that exhale and that being still in His presence and just abiding in Him, it's like relaxing and releasing your hands. We hold on to things, I should say for me, I can't speak for everybody. We hold on to things so tightly, and just to like release the tension and to let it go and say, okay, Lord, here I am. Use me. Here I am. What do you have for me? It's amazing what He'll do. I promise you that. So setting goals, here we go. I have this printout kind of little planner, brain dump workbook that I love to use. I created it just because I'm such a pen to paper person. I have to write it out. I've got to like process it. And so I've got a monthly goal sheet, and I love the proverb. It's 29:18. This is where there's no vision, the people perish. And so that's where I was I was lacking vision. I was lacking that connection with God of like, what do you have for me, Lord? What do you want me to do? And I was just going through the motions, and I felt like I was perishing. So I have that reminder right there, and I just took time to pray over. So take time to pray over, like, okay, Lord, what's important? What do you want me to do this month? What do you want me to seek this month? So a few things that I have that I'm working on that are my goals for this month that I will share with you are just to show up consistently here in YouTube and planning the content that I want to share with people. My goal is to always add value, and I don't want to share something just for the sake of sharing. I don't want to share something just because they say like, hey, if you got to show up on Instagram every day, 5 times a day, or like be in your stories 5 times a day. If I'm going to be on social media and I'm going to be taking that time from my real physical world to the virtual world, I want it to have purpose and I want it to have value. And so part of that just requires being intentional about what value do I want to add and what things can I contribute. So that's one. And that would go along with business. I've partnered up with a company as an affiliate that I'm so excited to connect with. And it was founded by a homeschooling mama who's a believer. And I'm like, well, how could I not want to align myself with that? So growing in that and just getting to realize like what opportunity is there and how I can share and add value in that aspect. We have financial goals, savings, and working towards certain things that we want to do as a family. So setting a certain amount away for that, tithing, all of the things where the Lord just asks us to be faithful with the little things. I think that's kind of like a verse that I'm really feeling a little convicted by, is just to be faithful with the little things. So handling our finances in a faithful way, like following and sticking to the budget, doing things like that. Relational, I want to be much more intentional about spending that one-on-one connection time with each of my girls. I think homeschool mamas will relate to this, that when we are home with our children all day, it's very easy to feel like we've spent time with them, and yet my kids will still say like, Mom, I just want you, I want to do this, or come do this with me. And it's so hard because there's times where you go like, I've been with you all day, like I've got to get X, Y, and Z done. Or sometimes you do need, just as a human being, like I just need a moment to myself, like I just need a moment without someone talking to me, or just to kind of breathe and exhale and regather my thoughts. And so I find that just trying to balance the two, it's easy for me. I'm like to want to like pull back and be like, I need a moment, I need a minute. But I just know how much our children crave us and how little it takes to please them. And so I want to be much more intentional about giving them that time, and it doesn't have to be this like luxurious thing. It doesn't have to be elaborate and big, but even just like a week ago, I went out with my little one and jumped on the trampoline for like 10-15 minutes, and her cup was so filled to overflow that it was almost heartbreaking, because I'm like, why am I not doing this more often? So relationally, I want to spend more one-on-one time throughout the week with each of my girls, and then also with my husband. When you're home all day again with the kids and doing school and cooking and cleaning and doing all the things, it's like I don't want my husband to get my leftovers at the end of the day. And so I want to be very intentional about prioritizing our marriage. One thing that has really suffered since COVID is just us having date nights and getting that time away. So my goal is to get a minimum of 1 date night per month in, if not 2. If we can get 2, amazing. And then my health and my fitness. I'm at that age. I'm less than a year from 40. So things are changing. Hormones are shifting. And so I'm noticing just things that worked for me in the past for, energy, brain fog, sustained energy throughout the day, my weight, the way clothes fit, my workouts, like not everything is working the same. So I have a few goals set for my physical wellness. Those include being much better about water. I have been horrible about water, and I think a big part of it is because here in Southern California, it has been an extremely cold winter. It's been very wet. It's been like dark and gloomy and cloudy, and I've had my fill of rain, but it makes it so much harder for me to drink water. I find myself wanting like coffee and warm, cozy, tasty drinks all day, and it's definitely not serving me well. So more water. I have a goal of drinking 100 ounces of water a day. And also I have a protein goal because I've been struggling lately to get enough protein in. And so there's that. Also, to be consistent with working out. Again, we've had like spring break and weather, and we had a couple little getaways. So my workouts have been very inconsistent for the last month. And now that the weather is hopefully shifting this week, and summer is the next season just around the corner, I would like to get more consistent with my workouts just so that I can feel my best. We all know that when we look better, we feel better. It is what it is. Like, we don't mean to be vain, but we know that we can't help it. When you feel like you look good and you're happy with that, it does wonders for a woman's mind. So I want to get back to my workouts. And that's kind of just like an overview and gist of that. I write my goals down. You want to write them down. Make sure your goals are achievable. Make sure that they challenge you. Make sure that they're going to cause you to make shifts to your daily life, because if you do things the way you've always done, you're never going to have a different outcome, right? So make sure your goals are measurable. Make sure that it's not something that is so open and vague you don't know if you're actually on track to achieving it or not. So don't just say like lose some weight this month, because that's really hard for you to like know, well, am I doing the things I need to do? We kind of know, right, when it comes to losing weight. But I'm just saying, set a goal. Like, I want to lose 5 pounds. How am I going to lose 5 pounds? Break it down. So anyways, I have my goals written down. I've got my big calendar planner, and then I've got my little workbook to write it all down, where I can just kind of like do a brain dump, get all my ideas, all my dreams, all my goals, all my vision, all my fears, all my hesitations, all my excuses out in one place, and then kind of reverse engineer it from there. So that's what I've got for you. I would love to hear if you are somebody who sets goals. What are some things that you're working on? And if there's any way that I can encourage you or just equip you with some tools or something to help you along the way, I would love to do it. If you're somebody who has found yourself in that season, like I shared, where you're just struggling to dream and to see the vision and to get out of survival mode, let me know. I would love to pray with you, and I would love to create more content that will encourage you and again equip you to be able to get yourself out of that as much as you can, and just really lean on the Lord, because He is so good and He's so faithful, and He promises that His plans for us are good. So that's what I've got for you today, friends. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. Let me know in the comments if you like to see more videos like this and what other topics you'd love to see. And if you hit like on this video, it is so helpful to me. It's a free way that you can help support my videos and my channel, and share it with some friends. I hope to get to see you soon. Have an amazing day.